Being black in the 21st century means to me like for right now, like we are really like powerful because like we pushing through all this stuff we going through right now. But then it's like same time it's like we like take 10 steps forward and then we have to take 3 steps back because the stuff people be throwing at us. But I think we like pushing through it like we got it.
I think it means being resilient and being unique, honestly. I think a lot of people see black people and they admire the things that they have, the traits that they portray, like the traits that they have. Black people are winning.
I'm not black, so I couldn't answer that, but I feel like it just means that you need to work harder for everything compared to like if you were white.
Being black in the 21st century means a lot to me because it's where we're living right now, and I feel like being black is something that you should be proud of. It's not something that you should hide behind because people are going to see your race and it's inevitable what's going to happen about it. So your race is something you should be proud of.
So being black in the 21st century, I think, comes with a lot. And it's hard for me to speak to it because I don't have firsthand experience. But from the people that I interact with, from all the news that I read, there are so many injustices surrounding just the concept of a race that I feel like are so unfair and should not exist. Like the concept, like the movie The Hate U Give, right? It really demonstrates this idea of race is something that has manifested into this idea that just takes over. People think about race way more than it ever should be, but in reality, if we were all thinking in an equitable fashion, then we're all just different colors. We're not any different.
I think being black in the 21st century is very challenging, but also at the same time is a very powerful thing.
I think being black in the 21st century, like, it comes with so many different obstacles, especially, like, in my opinion, what has come up with the Trump presidency, and that, like, you go out and you could encounter anything. And, like, I think that the way that our country has came, like, in this day and age is unacceptable. And that, like, we need to do better.
Being black in the 21st century, to me, I feel like it's like a privilege because like when you look at like everything around you, I feel like black people had a lot to do with it, and like other races and everything with like our culture. I feel like they are like drawn to it, so I feel like they try to like take a lot of our culture, or they'll try to like imitate it in some way. So I feel like that being black is a great privilege, but it just has its cons sometimes.
I feel like it means being something that everybody wants to be but doesn't want to go through, because you see everybody wanting to dress like black people, if that makes sense, or our culture or the way we dress, but they don't want to go through the struggles that we go through, the constant discrimination that we have to go through. So yeah,
I think it's mainly like people trying to imitate black culture, which I don't agree with. Like there's to a certain degree where you can have your own style or like your own interests and things like that, but it gets to a point where you start imitating somebody else and appropriating their culture, which is not okay because it's their culture, it's their heritage. You shouldn't be doing that.
Being black in the 21st century, I guess it's kind of like it's a struggle because like all of the racism and discrimination and everything, but then it's also there's a lot of people wanting to, I guess, be black and take on the black culture and have cornrows and all the style and like clothes and everything.
Like being black in the 21st century to me means that you have to work to get what you want to get. I mean, that's for anybody, but I feel like you have to work harder. And I also feel like it means that you have to like represent, because sometimes when you go out, you're not only representing your family, you're representing who you're like, your origin is, like Africa and stuff. And so I just feel like you just have to represent.
It feels like in this time, people have a tendency to take things from Black people without giving them the same human decency as they give others.
I think it's definitely changed with, I think social media is like such a big part, because like even like you're scrolling on Twitter and you see people who are in minority groups, and they have like a kind of a responsibility to bring attention to the things that they face. And so I think it gives power. I think being a minority in general gives you power to bring to light differences and bring to light things that you want to change in the community. So I think that applies definitely to Blacks in the 21st century.
I think it means that we've come a long way, but there's still places that we need to cover.
Well, to me, I don't really know, because I'm white as but if I could take a guess and see if I could, like, I don't know, see in a Black person's shoes in the 21st century, then I would say that I feel like it's a real gray area, because on one end we have everyone saying, oh, we made so much progress from like the 60s, we made so much progress from before, but also there's new stuff in the 21st century that Black people get discriminated for that wasn't in the 60s or the 70s or the 80s. So on one hand, you're like, people are like, oh, like there's so much better like acceptance, but then there's also new forms of discrimination that has never been seen before.
I think it's hard, but it's also empowering. Like, I feel like Black people in the 21st century face a lot of like adversity, but like I also feel like people are being stronger because of it. Does that make sense?
Being Black in the 21st century, well, first of all, I love being Black in the 21st century, because like you get to explore so many different things. You get to kind of figure out who you are. You get to do so many different things with your hair. You realize how diverse you are as a person and how much you can change things on people. What I hate about that though is that you still have like that kind of assimilation mindset. So like I want to grow my hair super long so it can be straight, so that way I can like, you know, kind of fit in like everyone else. Like that was me growing up. So I feel like there are so many benefits, but it's still just like the fact that we're not like viewed as a majority. It kind of just still makes you feel like kind of like the weaker race.
It's hard being a Black person in this century, because like people, like I said, people tend to look so down and have all of this stereotype about us and stuff. Like it's like most of the time whatever we do is unbelievable. Like if you succeed in life, it's like, she must cheat in her life. Like she cheated a lot to get through where she is, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just like really hard. Like my opinion in today's day, it's like we have to be careful. We have to watch out where we go, or like who we're around, or like what we're doing, because like everybody eyes on you when you walk in the building. They're like, oh, it's a Black person. Make sure you keep an eye on them, because they might be doing something you don't know, and it's not, you know.
I think it's I mean, I don't know because I'm not Black, so I like couldn't say from personal experience, but one thing that does kind of bother me sometimes is I think that people will sometimes say like, oh, like Black people have come like a really long way, like we've already like gotten to the point where we need to be, and I don't agree with that. I think there's like a long way that we need to go like against racism. Like sure, we don't have like slavery or like segregation anymore, but there's still definitely things that we need to be doing to like combat racism. So I think it's being Black, I would say, means that you like unfortunately you are going to be treated differently, but it also means that like as a society we still have steps to take forward to change that.
I think it means being powerful and being strong and being confident in your own skin, and noticing that you have the power to influence other people of your race and to influence people who aren't in your race, so that they can understand, you know, where you come from and where like some of your friends may come from.
To me, being Black in the 21st century means excellence. It means a positive chip on your shoulder, you know, like Like, we're not using what people have done to us in the past as a crutch, but we're almost using it as like in spite of this is the things that we're able to do. I think more and more day to day, we're able to do that more as a whole.
I love being black. It's kind of like, it's a gift, you know? You show all these people like what you can do. Like, I plan on doing big things, and like I plan on like fulfilling my dreams, like going to play college ball, everything. Like, this is a gift. I might show people around.
That's a good question. Like, it's awesome because like we run the culture, like, and we built this country from when they brought us over here in 1619. Like, if it wasn't for black people, this country wouldn't be anything. It would be a third world country. So like, we put life into this country.
I think it means prosperity and strength, and I think a lot of people are starting to realize that race shouldn't make a difference in anything they do, and they're starting to, or not even starting to, but our generation is just like putting it aside kind of, and I think it just needs to keep going up, and the kids are like becoming stronger and everything, and that's just how things are going.
I guess not enough equal rights.
It's kind of difficult because my mom told me when I was young that being an African American and being a male, like just being born into that, it will forever be hard and difficult for me. And like as I'm getting older, I'm kind of like realizing what she means by that. So